Record. Okay, so obviously as you're sitting on here and I'm talking, we will do rounds of IPAs. So I want to share that even though I've obviously been doing this for 2.5 years, I still write down my IPAs every morning because I am forgetful and sometimes I'll think that I like crushed my day and did everything and I'm like, oh no, you actually didn't do that. So I even need Molly reminding sometimes to make sure that I am doing consistently everything I need to do for my business. So I know that those IPAs can sometimes seem redundant and daunting, but something so simple as just like saying happy birthdays, that has affected my business. Like I've had people that I've said happy birthday to every year for like 3 years. And then the next time I send it, they're like, oh, hey, I actually do, have questions for you, or I do want to talk. Like I will get potentials from that, from a simple thing like saying happy birthday. So make sure that you have your IPA list written down. On mine today, I had that I did my self-development. I do that before I pick up my phone. I get active on my stories in the morning. I try to do face-to-face sometime in the morning. It doesn't have to be about business or about anything like that. I just like to show my face in the morning, say good morning, say something, inspirational, or just like I like to put people in a good mood and like start their day off right, if that makes sense. So I do that, and then I showcase a product somehow, whether that's me doing my 3-step, whether it's me sharing that I'm drinking Activate that morning. I show something product-wise. So this morning, if you guys even know who just texted me, I have something so excited coming for y'all. I'm like very thrown off because I wasn't expecting that. Today I packed up skincare samples. So I actually didn't show my 3-step. I did in the team customer page, but I packed up a skincare sample. So I showed that on my story. So somehow I'm showing a product. So if you haven't done that, do that now. Get active on your stories. I like to show variety with my products because you never really know what people are interested in. So I don't pop on and do the same 3-step every single day. Maybe one day I'll show my capsules, the other day I'll show my shake and how I'm making it. Someday I might show the collagen peptide. Like I like to show the plus line products. And I think for a really long time in my business, I didn't talk about the plus line products, like probably for the first year of my business, just because the business I had come from had so many products that it was so overwhelming that I like loved how simple the 3-step was. But then I realized I was counting people out. Don't start barking. Don't do that. By not sharing stuff, because you never know who's interested. So I'm going to talk about that in sampling also in a second. But I show the product somehow. If it's been the 3-step on your story every single day, pop something else up there today, whether it's an Activate, a Blast, anything like that. So I've done that. I've done my happy birthdays. I engage on my news feed and on my stories. I try to just do a couple minutes of each. And then I still have to do some unfollowing and following, and I need to post. So like I said, anything that you haven't done, feel free to do during this. I don't want to be distracting, but I also do want to pour into you the other things I do behind the scenes, not just like IPAs I'm doing on social media. Like I said, kind of like maintenance behind the scenes work. Yes, definitely try to talk about it. You never know what people are going to be interested in. Like you never have any idea. People love Activate. Like people freaking love Activate, guys. It's incredible, especially for people that are out working in the field or have that midday crash or have kids or anything. Like I think that Activate is such an incredible product, and I love talking about that. So as I'm talking, feel free to start doing that. Show a product on your story. Show, this if you want. When we hop off, get face-to-face, even if it's just like wishing everybody a happy Friday. I hope you're staying sane. I hope you have a great day. Like anything, I just like to pop on and show my face. And then do those rounds of IPs now just with like following or getting a post up. Now I am like behind a day because I was unplugged yesterday. So today for me, I'm acting as if it's credits day because I wasn't on social media yesterday. Also, you can take a day to unplug. If somebody hasn't told you that and you feel like you've been on your phone for 47 days, you're allowed to take a day to unplug. I realize that because we haven't been going to church, because obviously church is closed. Normally I take Sundays off. And then yesterday I was like, wow, I actually don't think I've stopped in like 19 days. So I took a day off because I was feeling overwhelmed. So if you want to pick one day of the week that is your day to put the phone down for half a day or a full day, know that you can do that too. You're not a workhorse. You don't need to be on your phone all the time. But because I took yesterday off, Today I'm acting as if it's credits day, plus it's a Friday, and Fridays I normally do a lot of work. I have people in their VIP period, I have samples, so I'm going to kind of go over like what I do behind the scenes and what is on my to-do list here for that. So if this helps at all, if it's something where you're like, okay, maybe I should, please don't eat that. Don't eat that. Maybe I should implement that. Like I'm not practicing that in my business. Hopefully this will help at all. So when I first woke up, I had to catch up on messages. I was obviously behind, and this is one of the first things that I do every morning is I catch up on messages, and then I like to check in to the team page, the customer page, and my chat. So that's something that is my responsibility to do. I make sure if nobody has posted in the tribe experience that I pop something up. So I popped up this morning that I did restore and activate together, which was actually really good. I haven't been getting down with restore because it has a weird texture. But if you've been struggling, try it with activate over ice and water, or do it with your vanilla shake and orange juice. That was really good. So I make sure that I do those leadership things to check in on the team page. So today that was me posting this. I checked in on the customer page, and then I checked in on the chats. Tell me what Restore does for you. I was having this conversation yesterday, not that it's TMI, and I was trying to identify what Restore was doing for my body, but I don't know if I sounded like a weirdo. So tell me what you think it does for you. Your digestion. Okay, so I feel like it counteracts my balance, where my balance is still working, but it makes my balance work differently. If anybody catches what I'm putting down with that, that's what I'm noticing with Restore. I've been on it for like a week now, and obviously it's fiber, but I've been liking it. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the texture of it in the beginning, but adding it in has been helpful. Okay, so I make sure that I do those check-ins, and I check in with the team chats. I have like our 4K and like 12K leadership chats. I have an IPA chat, and then I have a VIP chat for anybody that's been signed up like within the last month. And that's something that has really worked for me. Like I said, these are just like my top tips, so sorry if I'm blabbing, but having a VIP chat has really, really helped me with not only my new girls, but the new girls my new girls bring in. It's a really good source of duplication, because when I have somebody, let's say it started with 2 people in there that were in the VIP chat. Hold on. When I had like somebody new, and then somebody else had one other person new, and I helped them with their curiosity post and then their announcement post, then when I sign somebody else new up and I add them in, I can say, hey guys, can you send me what you put up for your curiosity post to help so-and-so do hers today? So it's this duplication of they're walking through the same steps of the VIP sheets, which I'm going to talk about also, but they're able to help each other. And I feel like, and if anybody's on here that's in my VIP chat, you can attest to this if you feel the same way. I feel like it's helping them almost like step up in leadership way quicker, because when you know like, hey, I can't answer that person's question even if I signed up 4 days ago, or hey, I just walked through that, so let me help her. It's creating that source of duplication way faster, and it gives them a community of like, hey, I just signed up. You know, I have girls that are in the same exact stage. They're able to help each other. I'm able to help them without like throwing them into a huge IPA chat right away where they're like, whoa, this is a lot, right? So I also check in with that chat. And a lot of my mornings are checking in, so you'll learn that. I also individually check in with anybody that I have in their VIP period, because I still utilize this sheet. So if you're not using this, this is in the team page. I think it's under files. It's just the VIP 1600 worksheet. This will walk you through day by day by day by day of somebody that is newbie, what videos to watch that day, what you're going to help them post that day. And I do this. So for instance, like on each one, you can see like I will highlight off, okay, they've watched these videos, okay, they posted this. So I do also still like to check in with them individually to see what I can help them with that day. And then the rest of my checking in is really with sample customers, with potentials, with actual customers, with all these different things. Oh, no, please don't do that. Hold on. If you have dogs, I might mute you. Hold on. I don't want your dogs to go crazy. No, ma'am. So yes, if you don't have this sheet, even if you don't have a VIP right now, have this printed out. guys, I still follow this. I made this. I know what to do, but I still follow this because it helps when somebody's there. So you wake up and you know every single morning, okay, this is what I'm going to tag them in today. This is what I'm going to help them with today. This is the post they're going to get up. So this really, also my graphics, guys, this took a long time to make. I think it's cute. Print it out, use it. It will help you. I promise. I still use it every single day. But the rest of my check-ins are with, like I said, sample customers, potentials, current customers I have. And I have a note thing on my computer. And this is how I've been doing my follow-ups. I switch between like a planner and between this, but right now I just have a notes, like notepad thing pulled up on my iMac. And I have a section for any samples I've sent out, because sometimes I'll send out samples and I won't write somebody's name down, and then I don't remember what their Instagram username is, and I can't find them, and then I don't follow up with them, and I feel like I fall behind really easily. So I have everybody written down that I've sent out samples to. So for March, I had March samples sent out. I have it all written down. I know when to check in when it's been delivered because I ship them out from my house. I have a potential promoters list, I have a potential customers list, and then I have an actual customer list of my current customers that order, maybe customers that haven't ordered in a while, when their last order was. I keep track of all of that, which is how I'm going to go into my follow-ups with credits. Yes, so every new promoter gets their own, so that every day I wake up and I say, okay, I need to check in with this person. She's on this day. She's watched these things. So for me, it keeps me really organized. It makes sure that nobody falls through the cracks if you are working with more than one person during a period. But yes, every new promoter gets their own for that. So like I said, I'm a day behind because it was credits day yesterday. So if you have not posted a picture like with your credits as a post, do that. I saw so many of you guys do that yesterday. Do the overlay, talk about how we run our business for free, talk about how you earn those for free. If you're leveraging credits, say that on there. Say, I have X amount of dollars that I'm going to help people order with today. If you've been interested, drop an emoji below. So make sure that if you did not talk about that yesterday, you talk about credits either in a post or on your story today. So that's what I'll be doing. And I've already checked up with all my people that are sampling and said that if they are ready to order, I have credits off today. I can offer you, $25 off your order. I leverage my credits always. So I do that with whoever I have sampling. I do that with potential customers that I have, and I do that with current customers I have that either order monthly or maybe haven't ordered in a month or two. So that's where this organization is really, really big for me. That I know, okay, hey, this person ordered, in February, but didn't place an order in March. I'm sure they're out of their products. Maybe money's tight right now, or maybe they've been waiting to order. Let me message them and say, hey, let me help you out with your order today. Do you want to restock on your products? So that's kind of how I do my follow-ups when it's credits time. I personally don't need anything right now. It was BOGO, and we had like the 800 packs last month. Like I have plenty of products, so I'm leveraging all mine this month. And so that's how I do it. My sample customers, my potential customers that have just been interested in the products, or current ones. So make sure you don't let people slip through the cracks with that. And this might seem like a lot, but when you have just names written down in front of you, it's really easy on days like this where we have a great business model where we can leverage these things to help people get their orders in. So that is what I'm kind of doing today. I'm going to do my follow-ups. I checked in with my sample customers. I checked in with my VIPs. I need to get a post up about credits because I didn't do it yesterday. So that's how much I'm working through it today. How much do you usually give your customers? It depends how much I have, how many people I have interested. It's normally like 25 to 30 a person. I don't give them 150. I don't take their whole order off, but I like to help as many people as I can. So I do the math because I don't want to offer it to all these people and then they all want it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm out of credit. So make sure you're aware of that too. I will say, I can do $25 off for you today. I go through my first round of people if they do or don't want it. And then if I know I have extra to offer, then I can do that. What else do I have on here? And feel free to ask me any questions like you guys are doing. If you did I answer that? This is under files in the team page. It's called the VIP 1600 worksheet. So that's kind of my behind the scenes. I wake up, I check in with all the people I need to check in with. I do my follow-ups with everybody I need to check in with. I pack up any samples that I need to pack up. I get a lot of questions about how I sell so many samples. It's because I talk about them almost every single day. If I'm not talking about samples on my story, you see me packing up a sample, you see me showing like the cute little packaging I have for it. Like somehow almost every day it's showcased on my story. Not that it's a hard sell every single day, but it's there somehow, right? So today I don't have to go on and say, hey, I have 3-day samples of this, this, this. I simply posted this little skincare sample I was sending out. And I'm sure a lot of my audience doesn't even know we can sample skincare, right? So that will probably get some people in my inbox saying, hey, I didn't know you had skincare, or hey, what is that? Or hey, can I sample that too? I've been looking for a new skincare routine. Somehow I show it on my story. And I really believe that in this business, what you put effort into is what grows. So for a long time, I didn't put effort into sampling. I would throw it up, randomly, like once every 2 weeks or once a month, but I've made it a constant on my page where people know that I have them. They know that I have plus line products. They know that they can customize it however they want. They know that they're available. And I think that when you even just put that intention on selling them and getting them out of the door, that's when people become interested. Packaging is also huge. I know it seems silly, but I guarantee you some people buy the samples just because they think the packaging is really cute. It's like something in our brains. We love to get cute stuff in the mail. It entices us. We don't know what happens. We're like, oh, I need that, right? I've had people that are like, I don't even know what the products are, but like, I really, really want one. So put intention into your packaging and what you are putting out there. Is it first come, first serve, or do you play it by ear? Yeah, so you could do the credits as a first come, first serve to say, hey, I'm letting all of my customers know, or all my sample customers know, that I can do $25 off an order a day. If you want to snag it, let me know. I only have X amount. This is the only time where I'll say, like, I only have like X amount of spots, because it's actually like I don't have an unlimited amount. So I will be very honest with what I have to leverage out and how that works. Do not keep your potentials list in your planner anymore. I don't, but there's not a reason for it. Are they being honored? I just change what I do. And I know that's not a good explanation, but for me, I stopped using this planner. I also saw this really funny meme yesterday where it was like, why the F did we all buy 2020 planners? Because we're all stuck in our house. So I wasn't utilizing this as much. And I was like, okay, you're not being intentional with your planner. You're falling behind on keeping track of your potentials. If I talk to anybody, if anybody messages me and says, hey, can you tell me about the business? Hey, what are those products? Their name immediately goes onto this notes list so I can keep track. So whether that is you writing it down in a planner, whether that's you putting it in the notes in your phone, whether it's the notes on your computer, I keep track. Anybody that asks me about the business, anybody that asks me about the products, any samples I have go out, and then also like when my customers are ordering and who hasn't. So I have samples sent out in March. I made one for April, so now my April stuff is up. March customer orders, new and recurring, potential promoters, potential customers, and then I have all my customers listed that haven't ordered recently. I went through and looked at like what their last order date was so that I can go obviously in now and say like, hey, I have the credits. Are you wanting to keep going on the products? I just check in with stuff like that. I've sold 2 or 3 samples this week and asked the girl to post something on their social about how they're feeling, and I got 2 extra samples sold off of them by how amazing they felt. Guys, that's the really cool thing about our products. Sometimes I haven't even had to ask people to share it. Like sometimes they just start sharing it on their story because they feel so good. Like I have this one customer that you would think she's a promoter because every single day she makes her shake on camera. She won't join. I'm like, you're literally running a business. You just don't know it. But some people just like to share how good they're feeling. It's like, when people go to Starbucks and get a cool drink, it's almost second nature when you love something. But that's great. And that's something I do is when I pack up a sample, I always put it on my story and I always tag the person it's going to. Why? Because then they repost it on their story. That's exposure, right? People are seeing my name. They're seeing that they have a sample go out. They're like, okay, what did she just order? Like what is being mailed to her? It's all part of that, right? So that's another thing. Make sure you're tagging them in that. Even when I enroll customers and I take a screenshot that says like, thank you, your order's in place, I tag them in that. They put it on their story. So I make sure to always do stuff like that. This planner is from Target, this specific one. And this one has like the hourly stuff and then it has a to-do notes and top 3, and I just kind of use it however I feel like it. I write all over it. Somebody asked about this. This is a baby package. This was not the one I meant to order. I meant to order my 6x10s. Bubble mailers, I get them off of Amazon. This is like, it's literally so small. But if I'm just mailing out a sample of Activate, or for this was a skincare one, it like fits and it's super cute and little, and the label still fits on the front. It just takes up the whole front of it, but it works for me. What should one do for selling Balance? I have somebody interested, but it would be out of the case. Do you mean as a sample? Is that what you mean by that? Do you just update everything at the beginning of every month? Yes. So for instance, how I said on the notes on here, I now have one for April. I don't delete the old ones because I have to carry some over. Like, has this sample customer ordered as a customer? Like, and for my potentials list, I just carry it over month to month. Okay, so for a sample of Balance, I've had this, and I'm just very honest with people. I'm like, if you order a sample of this, like, it's going to be pills in a baggie, and I'm not trying to be weird, but like, it comes in a case. So I'm like, if you want to sample it, just know like the pills are going to come loose in the sample. I just tell people, I'm like, are you okay with that? Like, as long as you're a-okay with me, like taking them out myself and putting them in my little, I'll share this because you guys ask about this all the time too. This is what I send my products in. They're organza jewelry bags. Okay, and I got these off Amazon. So if somebody ordered Balance or Sculpt as a sample, I would just put the pills in here. And I know that seems kind of weird and maybe not like safe and sanitary, but I just tell them like, hey, it comes in a bottle. It's not individually packaged. Do you want me to just like throw it in a little organza bag or a Ziploc bag for you if you want to sample it? And they're like, yeah, that's totally fine. Nobody's ever been weird about it. I just tell people beforehand so they're not like getting pills in a bag. Like, it's weird. You know what I mean? So I just let them know. These are, I don't think that size is right. This is about the size of a shake packet. So I can't do this with the shake packet in it. It has to sit open, but the shake does fit into it. Like, it just slides in. They have different ones. I'm thinking this is like a 5x7 or like a 5x9 is what I would think. But they have 6x10s. They have small ones. Just look at the size when you're ordering, but this is what I use. So I'll put capsules, patches. I normally send a sample of Activate. I send a sample of the collagen peptide gel, and then I'll put my shakes in here with 3 little paper straws. People love getting those paper straws. And I always send Plusline products in my samples. If you have them, send them. I just had a customer that was a day 1 sampler, and I did the 3-step, I did Blast, Activate, and the collagen peptide gel. She ordered everything the second day. Her order was like $290 something. I helped her with credits, but you never know what people are going to like. So that's why I send some extras. If you have it in your stock, send it in anyways. Oh, that's smart. I like to save old bottles to send samples of Sculpt out, Balance, or even the powder for Restore. That's really smart. That's so sweet. That's really, really smart to keep the bottles. I'm sure they also have those like little, remember when the skincare came out and we were all like trying to figure out how we were going to sample? And they have those little like plastic screw on top things that you can get where people do put skincare samples in, that you could pop like the little pills in or a little thing of Restore or something. But I just put it in a bag. As long as they're okay with it, that's fine. I'm sorry, I know this is not like a work with me, but I thought I would just tell you everything that I do in the morning. Travel aisle at Target. Yeah. That's really smart. Maybe I should do that instead of just putting it in a bag. Okay, cool. That's good to know. So that's what I do in the morning. I check in with my messages. I check in with any of my VIP customers. I check in with any of my samplers. When I have people sampling, I check in day 1, day 2, day 3. Like, I'm always talking to them. I'm asking how they feel. I'm helping them make their shake. I'm always in contact with them. And that's also good for like screenshotting reviews and sharing stuff like that. So I always do that. Like I said, I packed up the sample. I'm going to schedule a pickup because I send my stuff out from home. I did my VIPs, and today that's my main focus, is following up with my current customers because it's a new month, seeing when they're going to be out of their order, seeing when they need to reorder, my potentials and my samplers because of the credits, and then making sure that I share the credits today. That's funny. Yeah, I need to get those little things for the samples. People love, love, love sampling. When you check with potentials for credits, what do you say? I normally just voice message and say, hey, I have extra credits today. I'm all stocked up on my products. If you were wanting to place that order, if you're still interested in using the products, like I can give you $25 off your order, $30, whatever you're offering. Like if you're still interested or if you want to place an order. So I voice message almost all of it and just check in. And I think that this is a part of people's business where sometimes people fall through the cracks, or sometimes we don't do that whole like customer service side of things. For a long time in my business, I tried to just like let it run itself. And yes, it did fine, but I want to make sure I still have that customer service side of things. I want to check in with my customers 1 to 2 times a month, even if they've been ordering for a year, right? I don't care. I want to check in. I want to see how they're doing. I want to keep checking in with my potentials. I don't do it like religiously. People ask me that all the time, like how often do I follow up with people? I did this on my organization video, but I'll just repeat it here. Let's say somebody messaged me today and said they were interested in the business. We talked back and forth and they stopped responding. I will normally check in the next day just because, at least for me, I put my phone down all the time. I've probably done this to a handful of you and you're like, wow, she read my message and didn't answer me. No, I just like really bad because I like think I answer and then I don't. And I know that people do that too. They get busy. So I just normally check back in the next day and say, hey, if you want to chat any more about this, like I'm all yours today. Something so simple. And then from there, I really only check back in with potentials when we have sales. But the great thing is we put out sales all the time. So it's not like I'm going 2 months without talking to somebody, right? Like I get to talk to them at least every 2 weeks. We normally do like a sale a week, but at least every 2 weeks. So it's not like I'm like, hey, you want to order? Like I have a purpose for why I'm messaging them, right? Like, hey, we just launched this, is this sale going on? Let me know if you're interested. So it takes that awkwardness out of following up. I don't like following up. Guys, I will go back through my messages from when I was in my previous company. And like, we were taught like you follow up until they block you or they say no. And like, there will be like I have to scroll for how many times I followed up. So I had like PTSD with that, where like, I'm not going to bug these people. So that's why the sales take that awkwardness out. I'm not bugging them. I'm not annoying them. I'm not pestering them. I'm keeping them in the loop, because what I found in the beginning, I didn't follow up because I was scared to be that person again. And then I had people tell me like, hey, I didn't know that BOGO was this past weekend, or hey, I didn't see that email soon enough. So for me, it's not, hey, I'm following up because I need you to sign up. It's, hey, it's my job to keep you in the loop. Let me know if you're interested or not. If not, tell me when you're ready. Like I keep it so simple. We don't really get warnings for them, but they either send the emails out really late at night or super early in the morning. So it's not normally like a weird, like 3 p.m. you're scrambling to tell people. Normally we get wave of it either the night before, like they'll drop it at like 11:15, 11:50, and then we can wake up and let our people know, or they do it right in the morning at like 7 a.m. Normally that's when it is for my central time. Do you message them in between to continue building relationships, or only during sales? If it's natural, like if it naturally happens, yes. But I don't like intentionally say like, oh, I have to message this person today to, keep a relationship going. I just make sure that I'm following them. So if like they're posting or they're on their stories, like I know to engage with them naturally, but I don't plan it, if that makes sense. I was going to ask, if you tell them about a sale and don't hear back, do you just keep following up on the next sales? I think I just have like my own judgment with it, if that makes sense. If I feel like I've messaged them like 2 times and they haven't answered, I probably won't. I'll just make sure that I share the sale on my story, right? Like I don't ever want to keep messaging somebody if they've literally not answered me at all. At that point, I would just make sure that I'm doing my job to show up and share it on my story so people know it's available, and to like keep engaging with their page, like I was saying, so they know that like I'm not just here to get you to have a sale. Like I genuinely care about people. It doesn't matter to me whether you order this sale or 5 ones later, or if you never do. You know what I mean? So I think that's your own judgment. I think we can kind of know if like somebody's ignoring us, you know what I mean? Like if somebody's like, I can at least just get that vibe and I'll just lay low, and I won't keep messaging them. I'll just make sure that I share it on my story. I didn't follow up for months and it hurt me in this company, but learning the balance for following up has been the most helpful. Yeah. So that was my thing, is that I wasn't following up at all. But then I was like, wait, I'm actually not doing my job because I'm not like keeping track of everybody I'm talking to. I'm not keeping track of everybody that asks me questions. And not that I have to do everything for a potential, but we are in sales and we do have potential customers or potential promoters. And we do have that sense of responsibility, at least to keep in touch with them or to make sure their questions are answered or to make sure they're aware of what's going on. Just, it smells like fire. Just use it to your own judgment. That's what I do. Like if I know that somebody's asked me one question and then they never answered me again, like I don't have to keep going back, but I do like to just keep in contact with people and make sure I'm staying following them. And what I will always say is that as long as you are showing up every single day on the days where you are plugged in and they know that you're there, like they know that they can come to you when they're ready, right? So you don't have to be this constant, like, are you ready to buy? Are you ready to buy? I know that me showing up every day and sharing a product on my story is me keeping that line of communication open, right? That's me saying like, hey, if and when you're ready, like, you know, my business is still open. That's the most important thing, is just make sure people know your business is still open. And if and when they're ready, they will come to you, if that makes sense. Okay. Do you send the sales to current customers or just assume they got the communication from the company? I normally do follow up with them. A lot of my customers obviously work full time, like they don't work from home. So I know that emails can get missed. I know stuff can go to spam. So normally if like I haven't heard, like I'll do my customer follow-ups at like 5 p.m. or after and say like, hey, did you send the email they sent out today? Like so simple. I just get a conversation going. And check in. And when you have that relationship with customers, it's not weird at all. Like my customer that I said always shares her shakes and stuff on her story. I'll say like, how's your stock? How are you doing? Do you want to take advantage of this? And she's like, no, I'm good right now. I have enough stock. Like, okay, awesome. It's never weird. Like we just have that personal relationship, if that makes sense. Thank you. This is not a work with me. I know, but this is what I do for work. I think that so many people just do IPAs, right? And are just like, okay, well, I was on my story and I added some people, but there is like back work to it, at least for me. Like I make sure that I'm intentional with that, that I'm staying in contact with people, that I'm organized, because I truly believe that the more that you treat this like a business, it does. I know that's cliche, like it's going to pay you like a business, but it will. Like when you take this seriously and you're making sure you're keeping up with people and you're making sure, it's just like when a brick and mortar has like their books, right? Like you have to keep up with stuff. You have to know what's going on. When you get a message from somebody saying they tried the 3 steps and it didn't work, you usually offer them another sample to try. It depends. Normally, like I said, this is a big reason of why I walk people through the 3 days and why I make sure I stay in contact with them. Number one, when I send a sample, they get, you could even see what my desk looks like right now. They get a thank you card. I can't find it. And in the thank you card, I don't give them the steps of what to do. I say, message me when you get this. Because when people are left to their own will, sometimes they do crazy things, or like they don't take the products right, or this and that. So I like to stay in contact to make sure that I'm walking them through it, to make sure I know what their caffeine intake was prior, so they're not like all jacked out on the products. If they're like, I've never even had soda, I've had that happen. She was like, what did you give me? So I keep in contact in that way, so that during this process of the sampling, if it's the 3rd day and they're like, well, it just didn't work. Number one, I think some people are just out to prove that some stuff doesn't work, and that's a-okay. But if I've walked them through it, if we've talked about water intake, if we've talked, like I know that I did my part, and it's okay if it's not for them. Unless they wanted another sample, I wouldn't send out another one. Especially not for free, because I don't send free samples. But if you keep in contact with them and you're walking it through, and I know not everybody is day 1, 2, or 3 thrivers, but I would say it's like 3% of people that I've ever talked to have felt nothing. Like if you're taking them properly and you're not adding in extra caffeine and you're drinking, you're going to feel something. So no, I would ask, make sure that you're staying in contact with them so that you know that they're taking it properly. Don't just leave them up to their own will. And if you do all that with them and they're like, okay, it didn't work, it's okay. Not everything is for everybody, but don't feel like you did something wrong. Yes, I print off my own shipping labels. I use shippingeasy.com. My blender broke, so I can't blend my shakes with ice. I have not had it like that. I'm using just chocolate today. Do you think just chocolate shake and chocolate almond milk together would be good? I rarely use a blender, like rarely. We have a NutriBullet, and Travis has very large hands because he's a very big guy and he can't fit his hand in it to clean it. And I refuse to do dishes. He always says that's like his job. So he gets mad when I use it. So I don't use the blender a lot. I've always just used a blender bottle unless I'm making like a smoothie with, Build or Recover or something, but normally I just put it in a blender bottle and shake it. I don't even have to use that little circle thing. I just shake it up. I did buy a 6-day for the price of the 3-day, and several of the buyers were day 5 people, so it was helpful. Yes. And I always offer that. Like I said in that live, like offer people their options. Like I'll say we can do a 3-day, we can do a 6-day, like you can do the 2-week sample from the company. Like, do you want to do a variety? Like I had somebody the other day that just wanted to do shakes and pro bars. Cool. Like I let them try whatever they want. Of course, I'll tell them like, you know, the system is formulated to work together, but if they just want to try Activate, if they just want to try this product, I let them customize it and I just price it out. With my head, which my prices are probably not right, but I'm like, hey, that sounds good. So that's how I price it. What all do you need to ship from home? I feel like that's so worth the time you save. I have a Dymo 4XL label printer. Let me grab my smaller one. So you can get these off of Amazon. This is a baby one. This is the 450 Turbo. So the sheets that it prints out are smaller, but you can still mail it with the smaller ones. The 4XL printer was more expensive, but it prints the labels that are this size. So it's like the full normal labels, but you just need a label printer, the labels that go in it, and then shippingeasy.com. You just hook up your debit card and it will like automatically charge you from shipping through there. So you just put in their address, your return address is set, you put the weight of the package. So you can get like a little scale off of Amazon. I just know in my head now that my 3-day samples are 8 ounces. And if I do like something smaller like this, that was just skincare, I just put 5 ounces. I'm sure it's lighter than that, but I just do it by knowledge. But I do have this weight scale thing. So you can get a little one where you just like hit it and then you put the sample on. I think mine's broken. And you can weigh it that way. So Shipping Easy will totally just print out the label for you. And then I schedule a USPS pickup. And that's all you have to do is go to Google and say USPS pickup. It's no extra charge. Just when they put your mail in your mailbox that day, they'll walk up to your porch and they'll pick this up. So I will choose right now that I have one first class package to be picked up, and I'll put this on my little stoop, and my postman guy that looks like Santa Claus will put my mail in my mailbox, and then he'll walk up and he'll pick up my packages. So for me, that's easier, especially during obviously this quarantine. Like you're not wanting to go into the post office. You can drop it in the little blue box if it is prepaid, but I just do pickups because it's no extra charge. So for me, it works. Shippingeasy.com. So you just make a account on there. And like I said, it's just their address, the weight of the package, and then you choose first class mail. And it literally just prints out the thing right through there. And you can get the Dymo and the scale and all that stuff from Amazon. Yes, you can print labels. Yeah, and let me say that too. You don't need a label printer. You can print them on your regular printer and just cut them out and stick them on there, like with tape. Like for instance, this is a return I have to do, and it's FedEx. So this was just like printer paper that I taped to it. If you don't want to buy a Dymo, you can just tape regular paper to it. And yeah, I've heard that you can print out labels from PayPal. I've just never done that. But I know that Jordan said that, and then I think Sally just said that too, that you can do it through PayPal. I put mine off, print mine off with paper and use tape. Yes. Okay, so, and that's what I do. Like I said, you can totally go to the post office, but I think that it actually is cheaper for me to do it from home, depending on the weight. And that way, like I said, that's something like I sit down in the morning, I pack the sample, I print out the label, I schedule a pickup. It's just like part of my work routine, if that helps. You guys have any questions? You can ask me anything. I'm sorry this isn't a work with me, but I thought that this would be helpful just to show like the little things that I do on a daily basis. Okay, good. Yeah, y'all can ask me anything. Travis is still sleeping, so you've got all my attention right now. But that's what I do in the morning. And I think that if you can start to be very intentional with, you know, the potentials that you have and the customers that you have, like give them that good customer service. Also, something else I love to do is when I sign up a customer on the 3-step or any of the other products, I normally will send them out a little package like this of like a 1-day sample of the skincare and a 1-day sample of maybe a plus line product that they didn't get. So say they haven't tried Activate or they haven't tried Rest, I'll send them out a little thing. I like to do little like thank yous, you know, for signing up as a customer, for being on this journey with me. Like here's some extra goodies, because that can be add on to their orders that they may want to order the next month. What are the most important steps in your morning? Probably the things that I listed off. I do basically the same thing every single day. I have a balance between making sure that I'm showing up and working my business, but also a large part of my responsibility is to you guys. It is checking in with the chats. It is showing up in the team page, showing up in the customer page, doing the behind the scenes work. That's probably like the most of my work. Like I think IPAs can be so quick, right? But I know the size of the team that we have. And I know that that requires me to obviously put in intentional effort every single day to make sure that you guys are getting everything that you need. Like that is such a big part of my job but also with me working my own business. So as long as I can get my IPA list done for the day and I can make sure that you guys have everything you need and everybody's been checked in with and any questions I've gotten have been answered, that's what's the most important for me. When you're starting, what about VIPs? What's my most important things with my people in VIPs? Is that what you're asking? What do I use for unfollowing right now? I use, what's it called? InstaClean, but I think we have to be careful right now because everybody's getting blocked. My InstaClean will let me use it like once a week. I've never been blocked with it, but if you have been blocked with other apps, don't use it and then get blocked and then be mad at me because I personally haven't been blocked. Like this one will tell me like, hey, it says like API limit, which I have no idea what that means, but it stops me. But I will go on and unfollow maybe like 1 to 2 times a week on that. If I'm doing it manually, all you have to do is click on the person's name, click on their following. If you're not the first name, they're not following you back. I've had someone having bad allergies with a 3-step. What should they do? Capsules or meh, shakes are bad, and DFT gave her a rash. Maybe have her try some plus line products. If not, it might just be for her. And that is A-okay. How do you ask people to let you put their order in for them? I feel so weird asking. So that's one of those things where you have to not feel weird about it, for them not to feel weird about it. It's just very natural for me. Like I'm doing it with somebody right now on Instagram. And she actually asked me if it was easier for me to do it. But normally I just voice message if they're like, yeah, that price is good. Yeah, that works for me. I say, okay, awesome. If you want to shoot me your cell, your email, your address, I will hop on and make your account right now. I'll get everything in the cart for you, tell you what the total is with shipping and tax. And if that works for you, you can shoot me your cart info. Like I just don't make it weird. And that like little verbiage is what I always say because I feel like that helps to walk them through the process. So like they get the text that I've made the account. I'll send them like a shot of the screen and say, hey, this is your total. This is everything I have in your cart with shipping and taxes that work for you. If they're like, yeah, awesome, then they send it. So it's not like I'm like, hey, just send me your credit card and I'll figure it out. Like I walk them through it so they know like I'm on it. They got the text that I made the account. And I do like 95% of customer orders myself. And almost most promoter ones too. Even when I'm signing a promoter, I'll make the account for them and then I'll send them through the Cloud Office login and say, hey, like hop in here, click my orders, place an order, and I'll walk them through ordering. How would you go about posting that you have supplies available to send out samples, but not make it seem like you're just selling? Katie, if you go to the team page and search, guys, what do I have that titled as? The story brand one. I think if you just type in story brand, it will pull it up for you, or just go through my health highlights on Instagram. I have a couple different ones of them, but I don't say like, hey, it's this, it's this exact, like I don't make it like a infomercial. I just show like, hey, I'm packing the sample up, or hey, these are the goodies I have right now. Like I just show and like flip the camera onto the counter and I'm like, this is what you get. If you're interested, just message me a red heart, send me a DM. Like I just talk them through it. I don't make it like, hey, hop on because I'm going to sell you something. I just share and say, like if you've been interested, if you're wondering what products I've been taking, I do it that way. But always going back through my highlights will help you guys if you feel uncomfortable on stories or you don't know what to share. I have highlighted every story I put up for like 2 years. So there's like health highlights, there's weight loss highlights, there's business highlights, there's tribe highlights, like everything on there. If you're ever like, ooh, I don't really know how to talk about that, go pick one of my highlights and that should help. How do you find people to follow on Instagram? Do you also look at a blogger or someone and follow who comment on their stuff? I don't want to say that I like avoid bloggers. I definitely don't, but I find it easier for me to grow my network like with like local businesses or local boutiques or people that are local to me. I do have some content that people that follow a blogger would also enjoy. So I'm not saying like you can't do that. It's just kind of, I think, at your own judgment who you want to, but I find most of my people through locations, like the city I'm in, the cities around me, businesses near me. On my explore feed, people do pop up. Like I feel like I can't really describe how I do it because it's almost second nature at this point. Like I just click through people and like, I don't know how I ended up on somebody's page, but I just sit down and intentionally try to do that for like 10 minutes. And I also don't overthink it. This is something I've talked about. The perfect person doesn't exist. I know that so many people talk about like the ideal client and the ideal person. And yes, there are people that you will click with. There are people that are like your people that you'll love. But also, if you look at every person you've ever enrolled or every potential you've ever had, it's not like they're all twins, right? They're not all the same people with all the same interests. Like everybody I've signed up, you guys are all so different. Do we have similarities? Maybe the same vision, the same goals. We like the same things. Yes, but everybody's different. So I don't try to find the perfect person. I'm not like hyper judging their page. I just want to connect with as many people as I can in a way where it's not me like mass adding. So I make sure there's some type of connection, whether it's the location, whether it's, the state we live in, whether it's a similar interest. Like they're not going to go to my page and be like, oh, why the heck is she adding me? Like there's going to be something in common and you can utilize hashtags and locations for that. But I don't overthink it because there's not that perfect person. I know that a lot of like business coaches and people train on that ideal client. And maybe if you had like a coaching course, you might have an ideal client, but we can't be like specific with who we bring into this business, right? Like that's not for me to judge who needs this because it's people of all walks of life. InstaClean got me blocked. Okay, don't use that. It worked for me the past 2 times, but sometimes it's touchy and it doesn't. How do you go about handling their account over after you sign them up so like they can manage their own auto ship? It really depends on the person. Some people, I have had customers that don't even know that they can log into an account. Like they've never asked for it. They don't like want to go on it. So for those people, I just handle it myself. I have all of their info like on autofill for like their username and password for their customer account. So I don't ever forget it. But some people, when I make the account, they're like, hey, can I log into that? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I say, this is your username. This is your password. You can log in and change the password because I always make it Thrive123. But I just do that if they ask for it. But normally I turn their auto ship off right after they order. And if they're ordering themselves, I say, hey, you can turn it right off or you can leave it to edit it or turn it off later. Like I give it completely up to them for what they want to do. Yes, I know that I need to do a spring reset. I'm going to work on that. I don't know how we became followers anyways. That's what I'm saying. There's not like a method to my madness. I'm not like I don't follow like a specific person. I just find pages that I have things in common with, or people that I would like. Mostly just by reading somebody's bio, you can tell if you have something in common with them. And that's why your own bio is so important too. Yeah, most of my customers I handle myself. And they know, like, they'll just shoot me a text and say, hey, I need strawberry shakes. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I just order it. Like, we have it all there. I do not like auto save their card info ever. You know how when you place an order, it says like, do you want to save their info? I don't ever do that. But normally, like if it's a text or a DM, unless they chose to delete it, their card info is still on there. And I'll just say, hey, do you want me to use that card we used the first time? And I can scroll up and use it. And it's normally on their account still if that's what you used. Yes, you can turn their auto ship off directly after you place the order. It doesn't have to stay on. I used to think that if somebody was in their VIP period, you had to keep it on until the VIP period ended, but I haven't even had an issue with that. You keep record of your potentials and customers. What's the best and most effective way? I just have a notepad on my computer and I type all their names out. So anytime somebody messages me and it's like, hey, let's chat about the business, I just pop on to my notes and I type their name so I know that they're there and I don't have to like think about it later. What's a good way to make your Instagram bio look nice and appealing? I say to keep it simple, but also allow people to get to know who you are. So I think a really good way to start off with it is like go back to the what are your 5 things video and think about like if you look at your content, what are the 5 things that you share the most or that you talk about the most in your stories. Like I don't ever say to like put your Lavelle link or anything like that. Like don't say like, oh, I'm a salesperson. But for me, what do I have on here? I have on here my favorite Bible verse because I talk about my faith a lot on here. I say that I'm an Okie because I'm from Oklahoma. I have homemaking and decor, and then wife, life, and full-time family. And then I have my URLs link. Do you guys want me to talk about that too? So pick like the what are your 5 things, right? If somebody were come to your page, what are the first things they would say about you or the way you would describe yourself? Do that. Keep it short and clean. Like mine isn't super long or crazy. There's not like a ton of emojis, but that's like my brand. So when they go to me, I want them to be like, oh, right, like I have that in common, or oh, I see what she posts about, or this and that. It's just kind of like, it's like a resume, like a short little resume of who you are and the content you share. How much reading do you do personal development? It completely depends by the day. I used to try to be very structured and was like, you need to sit down for 45 minutes and like this. I do what feels good that day. If that means I dive into a book and I forget what time it is that day, great. If that means I want to listen to a podcast that day, awesome. If I want to listen to an audiobook, if I want to sit down for 20 minutes, I do what I need that day because every day can be different. Some days I'm like, wow, I'm being super snappy. Like I really need to sit down and work on myself for a minute. And other days I wake up and I'm like, no, I just want to dive into work. Like, let me just read my little devotion quick and hop into it. Do what serves you. There's no perfect morning routine at all. Like that doesn't exist. It's what you need that day. And I think that when you put that pressure on, and like if you're dreading your morning routine or you're like looking at the clock or you're like not paying attention, switch it up and do something different. It's here to serve you. It's not about like crossing off a checklist, right? It's about what you need that day, what you need to listen to, what you need to be poured into you. So what's the difference between getting bonuses in your VIP period and getting bonuses not in your VIP period? So your VIP period is your first 2 weeks. You can only get that $800 bonus in your first 14 days. And then right now, the only bonus outside of that is your $399 iPad bonus, which you get if you hit 4K in your first 30 days. But we always come out with new bonuses and launch stuff like that. But currently, those are the only ones that are out, like on top of obviously your commissions and like your fast starts and stuff like that. I'm glad that this is helping. I didn't plan for it to be like this, but I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. Hit me with anything else. We've been on here for an hour. Anything? Best way to share before and afters. It depends on the mood I'm in that day. Sometimes I only want to share my own. Some days, the way that I'm most comfortable sharing other people's is if it's like in an unfold story or in a product story or something where you're presenting the products, but I don't like post other people's before and afters on my page. Normally I keep my page just to my own. And then if I'm sharing somebody else's, it's just like in a unfold, or if I'm like doing a story where I'm like, these are my 3 steps, this is what it's done for me over X amount of time, and look at so and so, so and so, and so and so, and what it's done. I do think that it's great to share other people's, because it's just like with like the business side of things. Like somebody might relate to my story, or they might absolutely not, but they might relate to yours. So when you look at before and after, is if somebody looks at my body, they might not have a body type close to mine, right? But maybe the next person I share, they're like, oh wow, like I actually, like I feel like that, or that relates to me. Like that's my struggle area. That's this and that. Like you never know who they're gonna relate to. So I do think it's good to share other ones. I just don't do it a ton, and I don't post it on my page. I keep it in my stories, but honestly, like 85% of my business I do for my stories. So that's just my opinion on before and afters. And we have the threads in the team page of before and afters. We have threads of reviews from sample customers that you can always pop up in your story in the morning. I think that's great to show you doing your routine in the morning with the products, and then just like pop up 2 customer reviews and put at the bottom, like, if you ever want to try a sample, just let me know. That's a good way to incorporate that. There's so many threads in the team page for stuff like that. Do you ever mass make content? Take a bunch of pictures in different outfits. I have the hardest time taking creative pics, if that makes sense. Yes. I haven't washed my hair in 8 days. It's actually gross at this point. I have not gotten dressed. I have not put a bra on. So right now I'm using pictures that I had done when I had to do a shoot for something for Thrive Palooza. But when I do pictures that I have my makeup on, if I get dressed one day, I try to take a picture in a couple different outfits, just because I know that I look like this, and there's nothing wrong with looking like this every day. But obviously, if you're wanting to put up a picture, I take advantage of when I am dressed with my makeup on, and will just throw on a different outfit, a different lip color, and carry my ring light around my house to find somewhere else to take a picture. That helps me, because I think that a lot of us get tripped up with content, and we're like, well, I'm not getting dressed today, or I don't feel good today, or this and that. I like to have a couple pictures like there ready if I'm not getting dressed that day. So the other day, yeah, I did post a picture. The one I used for this work with me, I looked just like this, and I was sitting on the floor right there. You can do ones that are you in your pajamas. It doesn't matter. But I also like to mix it up with obviously me dressed and my makeup on. So I call it batching content. That's when I do that. Yes, I really haven't left I made him drive me to the gas station yesterday and back. I didn't go inside, but I made him drive me to the gas station, because I was like, I've left the house once in 22 days and I don't think I'm safe. Do you plan out your content, or do you just do what's on your heart that day? The only content that I plan is if it's something like credits day. So if I know that the 2nd is going to be there, obviously on the 2nd, I'm going to share about that. On Tuesdays, I know that I'll have content up about payday, but otherwise it's really not planned. I'm not a good pre-writer of posts. I know some people do that. Like Lindsay always says that she has ones like in her notes app, like whenever it hits her, she writes it down. I'm really bad at that. I like have to be sitting saying, okay, I'm going to post, but like, this is what's on my heart. So it's still natural, but I don't have things like pop into my head all the time sometimes. So it's not planned. I do have days I intentionally produce certain content when it has to do with business or products or something like that. But otherwise, it's really just random. I also do use my memories a lot. Like I allow my memories of my old posts to spark something. And I'm like, oh, maybe I haven't talked about that in a while, or I haven't shared that in a while. So that does help me too. It's like post ideas, but it's from me. So it's authentic to me. I just kind of remake them sometimes. Do you have Travis take your pics, or do you have a stand? Both. If we're out somewhere, he'll take them. But if I'm home, it's normally my ring light. I carry it, guys. I literally will plug my ring light in on my front porch. I don't care. My neighbors think I'm crazy. It doesn't matter to me. But if I'm with him, I have him take it. So this is something that you can get into the routine of. And this, I didn't do this until obviously this was my full-time job. But like if you're out of the house and you're dressed and your makeup's on, or you're feeling good that day, like tell your husband, hey, can we stop at that really pretty brick wall? Or, hey, I like that background. Or, hey, we're going to go out to lunch, but outside the restaurant, there's that really, you know what I mean? Like get into the habit of saying like, oh, let me grab a picture. Like, let me have content. And the husbands get better. I promise it happens over time. He knows now. He's very good at it now. They learn. It might not be great in the beginning, but just coach them through it. Tell them to hold the phone straight. Tell them to tap the screen before they take it. But get into the habit of, if you're out, which we're not right now, but you know, when you're out running an errand or you're out to lunch or, you know, you're going to a family dinner, say, hey, let's stop and take a picture really quick. And you think that that's awkward in the beginning, but now Travis knows, like, it's just second nature. Like, if I'm dressed, we're going to stop and take a picture because it doesn't happen often. They'll get over it. He's really good about it now. He knows that. And even if it's just like doing our garage door or our front door or anything like that, like you can take a picture anywhere. They'll get used to it, I promise. That's funny. Okay. I have so much in my head for posts, but struggle hard with putting it into words for posts, taking the time to just type and let it flow in post. Go into your notes app first and act as if it's a brain dump. Like whatever's in your head that you're like, I want to post about this, but I don't know how to say it. Open up your notes app and just type and get it out. And then you can go back and like edit it. You know what I mean? And say, okay, let me like, because when I think things, they don't always make sense. I have to like restructure them and like, okay, I need to change this, or hey, that doesn't make sense, or hey, that doesn't flow right. It's like a rough draft in my notes. And then I can go to my page and actually make it into a post, if that makes sense. So use your notes app for that. I voice memo myself in my notes and sit. Of course you do, Jordan. Oh, that's funny. Okay. All right, we did an hour and 2 minutes. Are there any more questions or are we good? I'll take any last ones you have and then we'll hop off. I don't want to keep you for too long. Molly, stop licking yourself. I can't stand that. I can't stand it. Is that it? You're welcome. Okay, awesome. So I will upload this. I guess I'll say it was like what my work routine is in Q&A. It definitely wasn't work with me. So go do your IPAs now that I took an hour of your time. And like I said, if you haven't done the credits post, do the credits post. I get asked all the time, how do you overlay your credits onto a picture? PicsArt. Go in and add your picture in, and then you can add a photo on top of it and adjust how like bright it is or how dimmed out it is. Okay, I love you guys. I hope that you have a great day, and I will upload this right now.